Welcome back to Brush Up Your Game, and today we have the little ship. Wait, what are you calling little? The Defiant. And, well, just point blank, the Defiant is better as the U.S.S. Sao Paulo in To Boldly Go, I believe is the correct pack for it. Yes, it is. To Boldly Go is where we get the Sao Paulo. But that's not what we're looking at today. We are looking back at Wave 1's U.S.S. Defiant. Now, we look at the maneuver dial, and it's a pretty nice maneuver dial, right? 2, 3 turns, white, come about, 4 straight. I think what they missed on was having a 1 turn. I think a 1 turn instead of a 3 turn would have been better for this tiny, maneuverable ship. We have the 1 turn, and it's hardly ever used. And the Defiant just exemplifies that quick turn, move on a dime, just go. But yes, we have a 3-2-3-4, 7 durability for the Defiant. Really needed to get better. Has a bit of the durability built in here. When defending, convert all of your opponent's crits into hits. That does happen first, so if your opponent has an ability to modify back, they get to do that. But anyways, we get lots of slots, 2 weapons, 2 crew, a tech. It's 24 points. Tad pricey. Generics have gone down to 15. Yes, 15. Defiant now, much cheaper, much more reasonable. Anywho, I like the Defiant. I've played the Defiant. It just never quite felt like the Defiant. And that was always my struggle. It didn't have the teeth. It didn't have the survivability. It never felt like the little ship that was at the forefront of the Dominion War. But yes, despite all that, the generic loses a crew slot. And I also never understood that. I would have probably taken the weapon slot out. Given it 2 crew weapon tech, but again, that's me. Originally at 22 points, down to 15 points. That tells you how overpriced the Defiant class is. And I still don't see anybody running generic Defiants. They're not durable enough for the attack that they give you. Aside from that, we get Captain Benjamin Sisko. Skill 6, talent slot 4 points. Once per round, you may reroll any one of your attack or defense dice. I mean, hey, I don't mind a reroll. Just a single die being given to me. It's not bad on defense. It's a little less good on offense, but sometimes you roll almost a full boat and you just need to reroll 1 die. Why waste a target lock on that? Especially when you got a battle station action, you just get to reroll that 1 blank and hey, you got a pretty good chance, 75%, that it comes up as useful to you. So, I like Sisko. I like other versions of Sisko better, but I definitely don't hate this version of Ben Sisko. Then we get Kira Nerys, and Kira was the first tease at a Bajoran faction. We went, oh, hey, Bajoran, that's cool, except to actually use her, she's going to cost 3 points because she's cross-faction. Well, that's annoying. But yeah, she's skill 3, which was kind of an insult to her. 2 points, and if a crew upgrade on an enemy ship would cause your ship to discard or disable any of your upgrades, roll 2 defense dice. If you roll at least 1 of 8, ignore the effects of the enemy upgrade. You do not pay a faction penalty when assigning Kira Nerys to a Federation ship. Well, take back what I said about her being 3 points. She's 2 to go on feds. Anyway, and now with sub-factions, this is completely unnecessary text. But, this is everything I said about Stex in the Chronos 1 video. This is the problem with Kira. She is limited to only crew interactions. I would have said crew, captain, admiral. I know admirals weren't a thing, but this is her being able to stop people. Right? She counters people. And still 2 defense dice. Just let it stop. I mean, I get that that would be a tough sell, that she would then be immune, but she's your captain. I don't know. It's a trade-off. Anywho, a pack pattern Delta, and hey, cheaper talents. We like this. Discard this card to reroll your entire defense roll. You must reroll all of the dice, keep the results of the second roll. Whew, I guess there are moments where you just roll so bad that you need to reroll it all. But this could have been just act as if it's a defensive target lock. Choose to reroll whatever dice you want. That's all it had to be. And then this is a perfect card to go on the Defiant with the cloaking device. It just would have worked. As it is, I don't play it. I think it could have been better. This also would be a much better talent for Klingons or Romulans, because they naturally want to cloak. Rerolling 1 or 2 dice, not my thing. Not worth 3 points. Attack pattern Omega. If you damage an opponent's hull with a crit, you may immediately discard this card to search the damage check for a warp core breach. Which is nice. Hey, don't get me wrong. Giving somebody a warp core breach gives them a tough decision. Do they take the action to eject the core, limit themselves to 1 maneuvers, or do they take a 1 in 8 chance of going boom every single round? For the most part, I say just take the dice and just let it act as if it's a normal card. There's trade-off, right? I'm good giving somebody a warp core breach. I think it's one of the 4 deadly crits in the game. But is that what I necessarily want to do all the time? No. If I had to reword this or redo this card, I'd say if you damage an opponent's hull with a crit, you may search the damage deck for a warp core breach instead of drawing a random card. Then it's choice, and you can do it or you cannot do it, right? You get a first crit on a ship. You go, hey, I'm going to give you a warp core breach. You get near the end and you're like, nah, I'm going to take my chances, try to get a minor explosion or a direct hit, try to do the damage in that's going to actually finish you off. Those are the choices you got to make. But, yeah. Is it usable? Yes. Yes, it has potential, but it's not everything. Quantum torpedoes. Now, these were fun, right? We get the first look at them. Not the last, but the first. Attack target lock. Spin your target lock. Disable this card. If the target ship is hit, add an extra hit result to your total damage, and you get forward rear arcs. Which you're thinking, okay, fine. 5 dice, range 2 to 3. You put it on a nice small ship, we can do something here, right? Take the Defiant up to 5 dice. It's got some teeth. This is good. Except here's the problem. You got no conversions, and at best, you're doing 6 total damage. Maybe a little bit more if you get some crits. But that's on a lucky roll, and you have no target lock. Best case, you get a battle station conversion. Maybe you brought Cisco, so you get an extra reroll. But even that just isn't... It doesn't pack the punch that quantum torpedoes should have packed. Especially not at 6 points. Newer versions have packed a bigger punch, but these quantums have not. The photon torpedoes here, pretty much the same. Spin your target lock, convert a battle station to a crit, forward rear arcs. So, pretty standard. Cloaking device, here we go. Cloaking device. Instead of performing a normal action, you may disable this card to perform the cloak action. While you have a cloak token beside your ship, you may perform the sensor echo action, even if this card is disabled. And it costs 5 more points for any ship other than the U.S.S. Defiant. So, this is a way to give the Defiant cloak and sensor echo, which is potentially good. But you're taking away the natural durability that the Defiant had with shields. And I think that the Defiant is a ship that had limited hull in terms of the gameplay, but also was very durable with the way it was built. And given that it only has one tech slot, the cloaking device using that singular tech slot, it's kind of a downer. It limits the playability of the ship. I think in mission play, throwing a cloaking device on the Defiant is good, potentially really good, but yeah, it still limits. Miles. Action. Disable this card to repair 2 shield tokens. Fine. Good. You cannot attack this round. Boo. Hiss. And for 5 points, no thank you. I'll find other ways to repair. This is, yeah. They went too far in trying to have ships that would die. That repairing and recovery was never really an aspect of the game. And Miles hurts because of that. Jadzia. Action. Disable this card to perform an additional 2 maneuver this round. Forward or bank. Only. No turns. Okay. Fine. I can live with that. You cannot attack this round. I'm out. That's, again, my problem. We went too far early on with taking these extra maneuvers. Should we rein them back a little? Yeah, probably. But the game design is better now with extra maneuvers than it was back here. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Worf only got a crew version. He finally gets a captain version later on. That version is fantastic. But Worf is a crew. Action. Target a ship at range 1. That ship rolls 2 less attack dice this round. Okay, I accept that. But on anything other than on a support ship, this is a waste action. Only losing 2 attack dice is just rarely worth my time. Yeah, I think this is one of those situations where you're trying to get too fancy. You're trying to inflict weird conditions on somebody when the ultimate goal is to inflict dead on an enemy ship. And if you can't do that, then everything else you're trying to do along the way is just trying to dress it up too much. And this Worf tries to dress it up, but it's not helping you achieve death to the enemy ship. It's helping you maybe live a little bit longer, but I'd rather try to get out of range 1 than be in range 1 and have a ship that can shoot somebody, me or one of my other ships, and do 2 less dice. But yeah. All right, that is the Defiant pack. Notice crew like Julian are missing. Yeah, it's kind of a trade-off here. I think that this is what amounts to a pack that I would say is completely missable. I don't think you actually need anything from the Defiant. Quantums are better later on. Photons are better. Cloaking devices even done better. Miles has a better version. Jadzia, Worf, they all have better versions later on. Sure, I get it. There's a nostalgia factor with the Defiant. I understand. But this Defiant in terms of gameplay is not great. What's great is the Sao Paulo. You want a great Defiant class? Here it is. That's your great Defiant class. And it's cheaper. And you can actually get a hold of it. All right, hey, that's it for me. I'm going to leave it on the weird U.S.S. Sao Paulo. But thanks for watching. Until next time, keep brushing up your game. Take care.